Here again with Terry McGuire, who is the producer and co-host of the Giving Voice to Depression podcast, which looks at a variety of mental health issues and a lot of things that have to do with this period of lockdown and quarantine. And now the reopening that is in the news. Many of us are dealing with that we've been kind of safely, comfortably in our own homes for months. And now it's a little scary to think that we are going to have to be with other people. Terry, can you give us some tips then as to what we can do if we're feeling that uncertainty about having to get back out there in the real world?
We don't know what we're facing. And we both are fortunate that it has been a safe and comfortable time in our homes. That's not true for so many people. And even people who have what we would call, a healthy home environment, they were still, if you've got little kids and you're trying to do their home, suddenly you're their teacher in addition to trying to do your work. Or if you don't have work and you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay for everything, it's been a terribly anxious time for an awful lot of people. Going back to work can also be anxious because what are we going back to? There's so many concerns. And I think that one thing that is maybe a silver lining in this is because we've all been in this same situation together, that in the past, while you might have been afraid to go to HR or to anybody in your EA, the employee assistance professionals, to say to them, like, I'm having a really hard time. That before was, I think, more of a concern that you might be labeled. You might be stigmatized. It might be, we shouldn't give Lisa any more work because she's not handling things so well. I think a lot of people aren't handling things so well right now because it's hard. It's really hard. And the bosses, the people who you'd be talking to and perhaps fearful of how they would evaluate you, we're in the same situation we were. So they're concerned about their businesses, themselves, their families, their employees. So I'm hoping that there will be a little more vulnerability, a little more honesty as we go back in and somebody says, wow, huh? It's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to be handling this. I'm supposed to be here at work and be 100% focused, but I know all the daycare and all the summer camps and all the summer activities for my kids have been canceled. I know my partner's at home or whatever it might be. We have gotten used to this strangeness, and now we're going to get used to a new one. So it is a very stressful time, and I think we just have to be honest with ourselves and with each other.
I would love to address a little more about this stigma and the fact that I'm seeing this is some lemonade that is coming out of this period of lemons, the fact that we are being more open and vulnerable with each other, and the fact that the bosses are likely to be more understanding now. If we say, I need to have a few sessions with a counselor, I just need to talk to somebody about this, whatever the case. So would you address that in terms of your hope for the future?
I think that there will be more people more honest about how they're feeling. There has been a lot of talk in my world, which is people with depression and anxiety, saying like, yeah, now welcome to our world. And it's not a sassy, nobody who has any illness would wish it on someone else just so they understand. But there is hey, remember how you felt in the beginning, or you remember how you felt at the end after all that time? That's how I feel all the time. And you know how your mind went right to, I think we're all going to get this and die, and we're going to lose our jobs and we're going to be out of our homes. That's how my mind is all the time for people who have really bad anxiety. So I think that there will be more of an understanding. That's my hope anyway, because it's a terrible thing to have to hide who you are and what you have, because it's not the case with any other illness. You can say, I've got to go eat something, my blood sugar's dropped or whatever, and nobody looks at you as though, they think, oh, go, or, they want to sign your cast. They want to drop off a casserole after you have treatment for cancer. But if you say, I am just despondent, and we're experiencing grief, that's another thing. It might not be depression that we're feeling. Whether you lost a human being or not, we have all lost a lot in this. And one thing across the board is normalcy. Everything about our life. You just went to the grocery store, that you didn't have to think about that before. You didn't have to prepare for that or talk yourself into it. So we're all experiencing loss. And when we can communicate with each other and be real, I do think that, there could be some real lemonade coming out of this, to use your word.
Oh, that's some good inspiration and information. Terry McGuire, producer and co-host of the Giving Voice to Depression podcast. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Help and Healing Hangout.
Thank you.